Alright, shove it squad. Today it's a pretty big day on the channel, because apparently this is a video you've all been waiting for. Ring of the Hawk is a show where we watch back a wrestler's short run with a company, and at the end we shove them a final grade to see if they could do the JOB to the HAWK. The current champion of Ring of the Hawk Season 4 is Rey Mysterio from Lucha Underground. If today's guy is going to beat him, he'll need to have some really good matches, exciting moments, and let's face it, I'm sure he'll beat him in the microphone department. I'm going to try and keep the intro brief. There's a lot that could be said, but at the end of the day, all that really matters is that today's video was a Patreon request by PE. If you want to make the Hawk talk, sign up today. There was also some other guy, but I've lost your name, so sorry about that. I've been hanging on to this video request for a while if you can't tell. Smack me in the gut sometime. Okay, here we go. CM Punk in AEW. Will it be the sort of pleasurable run that belongs on the hub? It's 2021, and there's this new wrestling company called All Elite Wrestling, which has replaced TNA. And they're going after any free agent they can to get eyes on their product. Enter CM Punk. I've not actually seen most of these matches, so I am looking forward to catching them. This actually is the second time Punk has appeared on Ring of the Hawk after his TNA run was also covered. Anyway, his first match will be around 7 years after the last one took place in the WWE, so surely we'll be looking at some ring rust and perhaps some loss of ring conditioning. Is he going to take this run seriously? This isn't going to be a top tier for certain, there are other factors to consider. And finally, please bear in mind that most of these matches are incredibly long, so I've tried to focus on what really matters, punches to the gut. And this video will probably get demonetized, so it would really help me if you could share, like and comment whilst this video is still live. It really helps the drive. Match 1, AEW All Out 2021. Darby Allin vs CM Punk. Both men sit down and stare at each other like two lovesick teenagers. The crowd chant Holy Hawk. Darby with the first arm drag, which confuses Punk. Punk angrily barges Darby down to get some welcome back chants. Punk almost hits go to sleep as Darby Allin dumps his nappy and he runs away. Darby comes back with a big time arm drag and some splashes. Punk no-sells them and whips Darby Allin into the corner and out of the ring. Punk's on top now. This match has a strange dynamic with Punk being bigger and in control and also getting cheered. CM Punk hits a big turtle wheel backbreaker for a 2 count. Darby finally does something now when he reverses a slam into a stunner. Both guys are exhausted. Darby gets a 2 on a Mahishtra cradle and another 2 off the code red. Darby continues coming close when he turns a back suplex into a splash for yet another 2. Punk eventually gets annoyed and smashes Darby with go to sleep, but he falls out of the ring. Darby makes it back into the ring at 9. He shouldn't have bothered because he's smacked down like a piece of trash. Another GTS attempt fails and Darby flies out of the ring onto Punk. Darby keeps up the dives but misses his coffin drop. Another GTS attempt is turned into a tricky looking pin, but Punk does manage to escape that one. Darby makes the mistake of trying to climb Punk too many times and eventually GTS does connect for the 3. This was a fine debut for AEW, but nothing to get smacked over. It's a C. Match 2, Rampage opener. Powerhouse HOBBS, who is one of Taz's many sons, with HOOK, versus CM Punk. The crowd are very happy to see Punk for his first televised AEW match in 8 years. Punk starts throwing dropkicks right away. HOBBS won't really go down, he gets on top with an eyelash grab. Punk quickly hits a drop toe hold and starts working on the big man's leg. Now it's a Russian leg sweep and Punk flips off Taz's other son HOOK. That leads to a distraction and HOBBS flattens Punk. Wise words on commentary as they tell us that HOBBS is actually very strong. Seems like a very strange thing to say. The crowd chant Punk as HOBBS slowly whips him around the ring. Punk tries a comeback but he's shut down in about the ugliest way possible. It goes on with HOBBS slowly working Punk over forever with zero cool moves happening. Finally, Punk does a net breaker and grits his teeth with happiness. CM Punk takes forever though, hitting a top rope elbow drop, and somehow that still connects. At least HOBBS kicked out, that would have been embarrassing for him. Seconds later, HOBBS reverses the go to sleep into a spinebuster of sorts, just a 2. Sadly, it's the best part of the match so far. The Oklahoma Stampede doesn't get the job done for HOBBS either. HOBBS now counters a Frankensteiner into a powerbomb, which Punk counters back, and it's just an ugly mess as they crash to the floor. It looks painful. Match continues. Punk kicks out of a powerbomb. This match is dragging as they exchange punches. HOBBS accidentally smashes into HOOK and Punk lands the go to sleep for the win. Slow, a little bit botchy and way too long. There was no way I could believe that HOBBS was beating Punk. A big letdown, it's a D. Match 3, Rampage opener. CM Punk versus Daniel Garcia with jobbers. We start with a test of strength and Punk tying Garcia up like a pretzel. Garcia responds with a bad looking chop in the corner. He screams in Punk's face. Punk feels disrespected and retaliates with 2 body slams. The GTS is attempted, which the jobbers break up. It's all Garcia working on Punk's leg for a while. This Garcia really enjoys screaming in Punk's face. Punk almost manages a comeback but has his leg swept out from under him. Finally, Garcia misses his dropkick in the corner and the match turns, especially when Garcia runs straight into a knee strike. Punk starts doing Dusty Rhodes elbows. He wants to have a good time here. Punk gets a 2 count off a boot to the head. Daniel Garcia isn't done though and he almost wins the perk angle slam. Garcia looks for a submission which Punk stops by battering him in the head time and time again. Punk hits the Pepsi twist for a 2. Garcia then randomly puts his leg around Punk's head, and Punk just kind of laughs him off and removes him. Everyone seems confused by that one. CM Punk throws Garcia into his 2 jobber friends and flies out the ring on top of them all. He takes Daniel Garcia back to the ring with a springboard clothesline. No cover is made, instead Punk nails a pile driver and he gets the tap out with the Anaconda Vice. Almost a B. Quite an enjoyable match, but I'm going to give it a C. Match 4, Rampage opener, CM Punk vs Matt Sydal, who doesn't get an entrance. Punk claps him at least. Both men start the match filling their nappies before shaking hands. We get plenty of side headlock exchanges and mat wrestling. We've got 2 experienced grapplers here. The crowd enjoy the bow and arrow stretch from Sydal, but it doesn't last very long. CM Punk slams him and thinks about buying some Just for Men. Brown. There's no need to frown. His wandering mind causes him to lose the advantage. Sydal finds some nice pinning combinations. Punk does eventually reverse a finisher attempt with a simple dropkick. He can't hit his swinging net breaker as Sydal swings him into a leg lariat. Matt Sydal hits sliding double knees in the corner. CM Punk isn't hurt and he hits a body slam on the ring apron. Punk seems like he's having some fun here. He quickly brings Matt Sydal back with a rolling senton. The crowd are chanting GTS. We get a superplex attempt which doesn't work as both guys smash to the floor outside. They arrive back at the ring where Punk has to kick out of a straight up knee to the noggin. Punk is moving slowly in this one. He's almost beaten again when Sydal jumps into a hurricanrana. This match is all Matt Sydal. He connects with his lightning spiral finisher, but it doesn't finish. Then out of nowhere, Sydal tries a crucifix, which is reversed into the GTS. Wow, most one-sided match ever. How did Punk win that? He barely hit a move in 15 minutes. I don't know, a C. There really wasn't anything impressive from Punk's perspective here. Matt Sydal was impressive though. Match 5, Dynamite, CM Punk vs Bobby Fish. Apparently it's both of their birthdays, so as a gift they both deserve a smack to the gut. I just couldn't concentrate on this one. I'm not sure why. They obviously had a great chemistry. I just feel sick watching this. But I felt more sick at the botched ending. The ref counts the 3 off the go to sleep, even though Bobby Fish kicks out a 2. Punk is in complete disbelief. Just a middle of the road kind of match. We really need to start up in the ante now because this is becoming pretty anticlimactic. Match 6, Full Gear 2021, Eddie Kingston vs CM Prick. The ref is trying to tell both guys to behave when Kingston hits a spinning chop to Punk's head. Who's the prick now? Punk seems like he's going to fight back until he's hit with an exploder suplex. Punk comes back with a diving clothesline. Funny moment now as Eddie breaks up Punk's strikes by simply poking him in the eyelid. Punk starts looking a mess. That's the Eddie Kingston effect for you. CM Punk randomly does the John Cena powerbomb and looks for the 5-knuckle shuffle. Kingston's not having a shuffle though, so Punk batters him. This match is fine, but it's nothing remarkable. Punk hits the go to sleep, but he's too tired to make the cover. He eventually decides to hit another one, and that's the 3. A good brawl. I'm sure both guys have black eyes the next day. Pretty intense. I don't know, a B. Possibly the best match so far. So whilst it's not going incredibly well, and when I say that, I thought this would be an A all the way so far, things should improve now as CM Punk has started his feud with MJF. It's like a father and son gimmick. MJF is basically jealous of his former hero. Match 7, Dynamite, CM Punk vs QT Marshall. When it comes to the girls, he's quite partial. Punk knocks him down and celebrates with a muscle pose. Punk hits the scoop slam, not once, not twice, but thrice, and it sure wasn't nice. There's jobbers here and they try to grab Punk from the outside. The ref sees that and banishes them from ringside. Punk hits a 4th body slam. QT can't manage a thing here, he's elbowed down and smacked 10 times in the corner. Eventually Marshall does somehow get on top and does a submission and a knee to the gut. Marshall throws Punk in the air and punches him in the face. It was almost like that Ludwig Borger move. The jumping powerbomb is a pretty sweet move, but it just gets a 2 for QT Marshall. Marshall gets frustrated and starts shoving Punk, who floors him with one round kick to the face. Punk picks him up and drills him with the short arm clothesline. The diving elbow drop connects now as Punk pulls constipated faces into the camera. There's the go to sleep and there's the 1-2-3. I'm actually shocked how little Punk does in his matches. At least his opponents are benefiting from looking good. It's a D because nothing seems to be improving. Match 8. Dynamite. Lee Moriarty. Seriously, what is this? Could these opponents be any more random? Who is he? And that's not me trying to be a dick. He's not exactly a household name, is he? Really strange booking for CM Punk, but at least he is still undefeated. MJF is on commentary for this one, which is a real treasure. He's accusing Punk of cooking meth and being so drunk that he struggled to win his previous match with QT Marshall. Moriarty is somehow all over him with pinning attempts and arm drags. Lee Moriarty takes him down about 6 times. Finally, Punk connects with a leg lariat. He springs back into the ring with a sloppy looking lariat. Punk does the triple scoop slams. He then misses a knee in the corner and he gets a version of Eat Defeat from Moriarty. This guy's flying all over the ring with strikes. He nails a weird looking belly to belly for a 2. The crowd chants CM Punk. Punk attempts to regain the advantage with a diving crossbody, but Moriarty rolls the pin over for a 2. A minute later, Moriarty with another reversal as he reverses the Hurricanrana pin for another 2. A bunch more pinning reversals. This is such an equal match. Punk gets frustrated and boots him away. It's just not working. Moriarty with a short arm clothesline now, a running boot and also a pump handle driver. It's close to the 3, but not quite. I can't believe this Lee Moriarty is actually making me believe he has a chance. Seconds later, Punk beats him with a go to sleep. Shockingly, this is one of the best matches so far because Punk is making me buy into this story that he's getting old and struggling, and he's also made me somehow interested in a jobber called Lee Moriarty. Excellent work here, it's an A from the Hawk. Who would have thought it on a match like that? Match 9, Dynamite Trios match. Maxwell, Jacob Freeman and FTR versus the Icon Sting, Darby Allin and CM Punk who's dressed as Surfer Sting. Weird to have a match where CM Punk is not the biggest star in the match. Punk wants to start with MJF, but he dumps his nappy of fear and tags out. So instead, Punk will face Dax Harwood. Punk slaps him down and everyone seems annoyed. He runs back in and gets more arm drags from Punk. Cash Wheeler gets the tag. He's slammed once by Punk and the tag's out. When CM Punk towers over all of his opponents, it really makes you think. Bodyboarders, not bodybuilders. Don't punch me in the nutsack, I just wanted an excuse to make that surfer joke. MJF is still scared of Punk. This match turns really fun as MJF runs all over the arena with Punk desperately giving chase. He's not quite quick enough though. This match is mostly Darby Allin isolated and MJF keeps spitting at Punk and provoking him. Punk's a hawk on fire when he does get the tag. He kills Dax with a leg lariat and a bunch of corner attacks. FTR are killed with a bulldog clothesline combination. CM Punk keeps going, quickly throws himself out of the ring and back into the ring with a crossbody on Cash for a 2. Punk continues doing well in a handicap situation. He is stopped from diving though and he's hit with a middle rope suplex into a splash. That's just a 2 count for FTR. Maxwell seems to have gone missing. Punk almost wins with a roll up as the camera comically misses something else going on around ringside. CM Punk hits a kick for a double down. When they get up, the go to sleep is blocked and then somehow FTR almost put Punk away. MJF returns. Dax Harwood is in love with him or something and saves his partner in wacky fashion. Everybody hits finishers on Dax Harwood and that's that. Probably the strongest Punk has been booked in an AEW match. He pretty much battled 2 guys on his own for large parts, yet I can still barely remember anything he actually did. It's a C. Match 10, Dynamite opener. Wardlow with MJF versus CM Punk. This will be a tough match for Punk as Wardlow is on a hot streak himself. Wardlow is too strong for Punk. This is somehow my first time seeing a Wardlow match, but I've heard a lot about him. Wardlow looks to powerbomb Punk. He can't do this and Punk slithers away like a greased up seal. Punk tries to fly back into the ring, but he's caught and bashed into the corner. Pepsi Punk can't hit a DDT, and he just can't handle Wardlow. CM Punk tries some strikes now, which only seems to anger Wardlow. This one's starting to get ugly. Punk springboard clotheslines him to knock him down for the very first time, but he can't follow it up with the running knee strike as he's caught and powerbombed. Wardlow's slow to react from that one, but then he decides to do another powerbomb. He continues walking around the ring looking confused and not making a pin cover. A third powerbomb connects. Pin him, you moron. Wow, Wardlow hits a 4th. And a 5th powerbomb. Wardlow tries to pin Punk with 1 foot on his chest, which is stopped by MJF at ringside. Maxwell says he wants Wardlow to do more damage first. Wardlow hits another powerbomb. And then there's a 7th powerbomb. MJF politely asks if Wardlow would powerbomb Punk through a table. And he does it, so Punk wins by DQ. Fair play to Punk for making Wardlow look so dangerous. That's the second time in this run he's made his opponent look like a star. Yeah, it's an A from the Hawk. Wait, what? The match isn't over? That doesn't even make any sense. Punk somehow crawls back into the ring and beats the 10 count. Then Punk, rolls up Wardlow for the 3. And the ref counted it really slowly as well. That is a horrible ending. He should have let Wardlow have that win. It's just a C now. Match 11, Dynamite. Shawn Spears versus CM Punk. The match lasts about 10 seconds. Punk hits to go to sleep and then he celebrates like Hulk Hogan, which makes me want to smash him with a brick. So it's the first S of this video. Match 12, Dynamite. Maxwell Jacob Friedman versus CM Punk. Okay, I wasn't expecting this to be taking place on free television. Seems like a strange choice. MJF is no longer scared to face Punk, but he does have to start this one off with a cheap shot. They do that spot where Punk keeps smacking him and MJF keeps seesawing on the ropes. Punk looks very happy at that. They fight up into the crowd. Punk slams him nutsack first on a railing. Back in the ring, Punk hits the triple scoop slam. Slow and methodical pace from Punk. CM Punk rests in the corner for a while, which is a big mistake as soon after he smashes into the corner post. The match completely turns at this point as Maxwell slowly works on Punk's arm. MJF hits Punk with a nice throw, you don't see that every day. Punk eventually catches a breather off a top rope crossbody. He's really feeling his arm as he connects with a neck breaker. CM Punk starts feeling better about himself after a bulldog. Max tries to run off, but he's caught and slammed on the ring apron. He's just too cocky for his own good in this match. I think they're trying to tell a story as he falls in his nutsack. Maxwell throws him overhead by his arm, nice move again. MJF starts dumping in his nappy and uses the ref as a shield, but it's just so he can choke out Punk with tape. It's like a Punch and Judy sketch as the crowd desperately try to tell the bold ref that MJF is choking him with tape. Eventually Punk sinks to his knees and shockingly he passes out and the ref rings the bell. Wait, no, the ref sees the tape and changes his mind and the match continues. Unlike a lot of matches, this one continues for a long time after the restart. Punk's arm is pretty much screwed at this point. We get a Chris Jericho triangle dropkick from Punk and a suicide dive out the ring. This match is just unnecessarily long. It just starts to drag. I was almost fast asleep when Punk jumped onto Maxwell's shoulders and hit him with a reverse spike Rana for a 2. It was relieving to see a new move. Punk keeps getting the odd hope spot, but for some reason this one isn't as exciting as it deserves to be. Suddenly Punk connects with the Pepsi plunge from the top rope and that was exciting. It's my first time seeing that move in AEW. Punk can't make the cover though as MJF rolls out the ring. Back in the ring they do the tombstone piledriver reversals into an MJF pin. Punk kicks out and straight up boots Maxwell in the head. CM Punk drops the elbow for another 2 count. Wardlow makes his way out. Nobody knows whose side he's going to be on. This distracts the referee, which allows MJF to hit Punk in the head whilst he's wearing his little ring that Wardlow gave to him. And that's the 3. Punk's first AEW loss. Overly long match at 36 minutes. Decent, but it was just lacking in drama for a 36-minute match. It's a B. Match 13. Dynamite tag match. FTR versus CM Punk and Jon Moxley. This one's all about Moxley being isolated for a very, very, very long time. There's just not much to speak about from Punk's point of view. Punk does finally get the tag, and I'm revealed to finally have something to say. He kicks Dax Harwood all over the ring, but Punk seems to have a bad leg. He gets a 2 off a short arm clothesline. Dax Harwood shuts him down with a really nice uppercut, which rocks Punk from the ring. He returns to the ring, hitting a doomsday device on Dax, who is able to kick out the pin somehow. Talking of kicking out, Dax kicks out of a separate pinning attempt which launches Punk into a ring bell shot. Dax instantly crushes him with another move which somehow is not the 3. He'll probably wish he took the L though because moments later FTR hit the big rigs on CM Punk. Jon Moxley has to make the save on the pin. A bit later on Punk manages to roll over on a crossbody into the Anaconda Vice and Punk has the tap out but the ref has not seen it. Tully Blanchard climbs into the ring and Punk kills him. That almost costs Punk again. But ultimately it doesn't because Moxley and Punk win the match with stereo finishers. A fun match which got a bit silly with the kickouts, but it's okay because I think it's one of Punk's AEW gimmicks. This one's a B, some fun stuff for sure. Match 14, AEW Revolution 2022. Dog collar match. Not looking forward to this one. I always find dog collar matches a chore to sit through. It's MJF versus CM Punk. It's not Punk's first dog collar match. Maxwell keeps trying to escape, but that isn't going to work here. Punk's in control for a while until he makes a mistake trying 10 chain punches in the corner. Maxwell fights out of that and does a powerbomb to him for a 2 count. MJF will slowly dissect Punk now with help from the dog chain. MJF screams, "Give me the mic," and starts cutting a promo. He wants Punk to admit that he's a quitter, but Punk tells him to eat bird turd. Maxwell's an idiot and has ADD. He pays for his distraction when Punk jerks him off the top. There's a headbutt to the nutsack from CM Punk now. It's now CM Punk's turn to dominate for a bit. Somehow MJF doesn't quit the Anaconda Vice grip though. CM Punk hits MJF out the ring with a Shining Wizard, that was pretty cool. Later on, MJF takes forever trying to position Punk on the apron for something, and he shouldn't have bothered because Punk reverses that move and hits the tombstone on the ring apron. Punk tries to follow it up by climbing to the top rope and screaming that he's the best in the world. Of course, he then misses his following elbow drop, proving himself wrong. Ugh, not dumb tacks. Why does there always have to be dumb tacks? They both tease suplexes, none of them work, and Punk kicks Maxwell. Punk tries the Pepsi plunge, but instead he plunges onto his own nutsack. MJF superplexes him into the dumb tacks. He can't get the pin, he starts crying and asking for Wardlow to waddle his way out to ringside. Once again, MJF wants Wardlow to provide him with his little ring. He unfortunately can't find the ring, and MJF turns around into the go to sleep. It turns out that Wardlow had the ring the whole time. It would have been funnier if Wardlow had done a pocket flip off. CM Punk puts the ring on, and the power of Hulkamania is now flowing through his veins. He starts hulking up, and Punk smacks him one, and that is the 3. I have to question if this really needed to be half an hour. It was an alright match, probably the best dog collar match in recent times, but I don't tend to enjoy these things, so it's a B. Match 15, Dynamite Opener, CM Punk vs Dax Harwood. These two have pretty sweet chemistry, I love seeing these two grapple. Harwood keeps doing backbreakers and back suplexes, but it's only going one way. Harwood misses a beautiful diving headbutt, and that's almost the opening that Punk needed. But he just can't take advantage, and Harwood cripples him with a beautiful superplex. I am so sick at this point of hearing the referee's name. Who cares what their names are? Seriously irritating. Dax Harwood does now manage to connect with his headbutt, which only gets him a 2 count. Both guys spill out of the ring from a suplex attempt for a double down. They return to the ring with CM Punk hitting a crossbody for a 2 count. He puts Dax Harwood straight into the Anaconda Vice. Harwood refuses to tap out. Nice small package exchange now. Referee Bryce Rennerbrook is really impressive. Dax Harwood does a slingshot powerbomb, which somehow isn't the 3. Punk eventually wins with the Anaconda Vice grip. Enjoyed this one again. These two are just great together. They should get married. Punk just isn't doing much but being a punching bag though. It's a B overall. Match 16, Dynamite Opener, CM Punk vs Max Caster with Anthony Bowens. Punk's very amused by the Acclaimed. He's not amused for long though, as his crossbody is caught and he's smashed with a rib breaker. Max Caster also nails the Fisherman's Buster for a 2 count. Punk lands his first big move of the match with a Frankensteiner followed up by the Bulldog. It doesn't help though, as Punk ends up hung up over the ropes and hit with a guillotine leg drop. Max Caster misses his diving elbow drop, and Punk eventually picks him up and hits a pile driver and wins with the Vice grip. Just like many of the other matches, Punk literally did nothing the entire match and won with just one move. Just not much to say, it's a D. Match 17, Dynamite Opener, CM Punk vs Pentagon. Once again, Punk is very entertained by his opponent's gimmick. They trade chops for ages as the audience dumps in their G-strings of excrement. Punk loses the strike off. We do get a new wacky arm drag from Punk, which was cool. Strangely, this is the most even match in ages. Punk dodges Pentagon's dive out the ring and hits one of his own. This match features an ugly botch where Punk tries to nail a Frankensteiner, but both guys slop to the mat. Punk pretends that was due to a bad leg. Now he does manage to hit the move correctly. The crowd are firmly behind CM Punk and they chant "go to sleep", so Punk tries to oblige but the move is blocked. Pentagon tries a springboard and this one is caught, and there's the finish from Punk. Just not great, highly skippable. At this point I think his popularity is for Punk as a person, because his matches aren't anything to fluff the hook about. It's a D. Match 18, Dynamite Opener. Why is CM Punk always the opener, and why is it always a 20-minute match? My hyperactive mind is struggling to stay focused. Somebody smack me one. He takes on Dustin Rhodes. Dustin is all blue and sad looking. This is either going to be really good or really bad. It seems like it's going to go bad, at least for Dustin, when Punk ducks him and he goes rolling out of the ring. Dustin has now destroyed his knee, and this changes the complex of the entire match, and it makes it different to any of the other matches so far, because Punk will focus on a body part of the big man. Every so often, Dustin manages a fluky inside cradle for a 2. This is pretty much the only match so far where the fans are split. Punk is not the clear fan favourite. Dustin sends Punk from the ring, but Punk nicely kicks his leg out on the ring apron. Dustin responds with an arm wringer also on the ring apron. We seem to be a bit of a standoff in the ring. Then Dustin hits a Code Red, which is just awesome that he's added that move to his arsenal. Just a 2. Dustin goes old school now with an uppercut into a power slam for another 2. Punk finally takes him down with a chop block, surprisingly to Booze. He puts on a figure 4 to the damaged knee of Dustin. Dustin eventually reverses the pressure. Later on, Punk attempts a springboard, but he gets smacked, and Dustin quickly takes advantage of a crossroads straight into a pile driver. Just a 2 for God's sake. No matter how many times I watch these matches, I still find that a bit silly. His neck should be crushed, but times have changed and I need to get a grip. I need to get with the times and stop the rhymes. Dustin tries the elbows, which is reversed into the GTS. Dustin slips out of that into a pin, but Punk counters that by simply sitting on him. It's over. Enjoyed that match, it's a B. Match 19, AEW Dynamite. Not the opener, makes a change. CM Punk versus Long John Silver. For the very first time in this video, Punk will be working this match as a heel. Silver knocks Punk down in the early gun. Silver also scores a backslide for a 2 count. Punk looks exhausted as he regains his composure on the outside. He does return and Silver is still battering him in the corner. Punk reverses the swing DDT and beheads Silver with a clothesline. After the break, Silver truly starts dominating with a kicking combination into a brainbuster. Once again, Punk reverses his DDT, but Silver ain't a quitter, he's a winner. He scrambles to the top, almost falling, but Punk helps him make that big climb. And there it is, Silver finally lands a DDT. His effort to hit the DDT doesn't pay off because it's just a 2. Then a kick grazes Silver and Punk is finally on top. All of a sudden, Punk rolls into the ring and hits a slightly dodgy clothesline, and that's the 3. It's clear that Punk is trying to let his opponents land as many moves as possible. This is a C though, nothing unmissable, but a nice change in speed. Match 20, AEW Double or Nothing 2022, AEW World Title Match. The challenger, CM Punk versus the champion, Hangman Adam Page. Believe it or not, for another first in this video, this will be the first time I've watched an entire Adam Page match. I'm interested to see what all the hype is with this champion. There's a big intense start as these two guys go nose to nose and they do an aggressive lockup. Now it's a chop battle. Punk seems to have the upper hand. Not that much to say in the early gun, but the crowd seems to be building a buzz. Punk does some scoop slams and seems confused that the crowd reception is mixed. Punk hits a diving crossbody which Page rolls through and he picks him up with the Scott Hall special, the sack of shit. Punk is then smashed as Page dives down on him. The pace of this match is very slow. Punk tries to quicken the pace, which doesn't work because he's hit with a spinning elbow to the head. Page also bombs Punk against the ring apron and hits a flying lariat back into the ring for a 2. Now CM Punk does finally manage to do something when he hits a desperation superplex for the double down. When they make it up, Punk quickens the pace. It's nothing we haven't seen 20 times already, and I've got to keep the length of this video down. There's no need to frown. Later on, there's a really funny botch when Punk flips into the ring, but it almost confuses Page to his benefit, and Punk smacks him down. This is going to be relevant, I believe. Adam Page replies with a nice powerbomb and the Deadeye, which is just a 2. The Hangman attempts to steal CM Punk's finisher, and he succeeds, but Punk kicks out. That seems to make the crowd finally decide to firmly back Punk. Both guys spill out the ring now, and Punk is launched over a table. Adam Page tells Punk that the belt is his, and he'll never be able to have it. Page wants to show Punk how the flip into the ring lariat works, but instead he almost flips into a GTS, and then there's a ref bump. Adam Page does hit his lariat, but no ref. Page tries to decide now if he wants to hit CM Punk with the belt. Punk begs him not to. Page just can't decide what to do. Eventually decides not to do it. Bad choice as Punk hits the go to sleep. That move has been incredibly well protected throughout this run. And there it is, a world title win for CM Punk. It's incredibly rare in Ring of the Hawk, so it has to be an A, doesn't it? Match 21, Dynamite opener, 6-man tag. CM Punk, he dives into the crowd with happiness. That's a nice moment for Punk. And he teams up with Dax Harwood and Cash Wheeler. I guess enemies have become friends. They take on Austin Gunn, Colton Gunn, and Max Caster with Billy Gunn. This one starts with the crowd being told to start an Ass Boys chant. They're only too happy to join in. Punk doesn't get tagged in for ages, but when he does arrive, they go berserk and he dives on Max Caster's arm. He does a diving crossbody, but he isn't in a rush to do anything else and he tags out. Honestly, Punk is barely in this match. For some reason, he rubs his ass on one of the Ass Boys. I guess that's probably self-explanatory actually. Punk hits the diving elbow before he has a face-off with Billy Gunn. That almost gets Austin Gunn the roll-up win. Punk stops a Faymaster attempt and roughly powerbombs Gunn into his dad. There's the go to sleep and there's the big rig from FTR for the win. Really not much to see of Punk in this match, it's a D. Now before we can have any more matches, Punk starts crying and says that he's injured his foot. He reveals that he's going to have to take a break from AEW, but he will remain the champion. In the meantime, an interim champion will be named. Of course it's a great promo, but did you expect anything less? The interim champion turns out to be Moxley. CM Punk does actually return a couple of months later. Match 22, Dynamite, World Title Unification match. Interim Champion Jon Moxley versus the real World Champion CM Punk. This should be a big epic match right here. The crowd are completely split with their cheers again. Moxley goes nuts and starts absolutely battering Punk in the corner. Punk starts jabbing back at him and the crowd have now seemingly turned on Punk completely. Moxley does a headbutt which causes Punk to kick him in the head. Unfortunately for Punk, this was his injured leg. Moxley knocks Punk's head off with a clothesline. He frantically puts on a submission for like a second, then he releases it and he hits a butterfly suplex. Moxley picks him up and hits a second butterfly suplex and that's the 3. The crowd are a mixture of confused and annoyed. It's an S. Moxley killed Punk in 3 minutes and what a horrible world title reign that was for Punk. Match 23, final match, All Out 2022. World title match, the challenger CM Punk versus Jon Moxley, the champion, with William Regal. Punk will be the clear fan favourite for this one. Jon Moxley starts off making fun of CM Punk over his previous injury. Punk tries to end this one quickly with early knee strikes in the corner, and wow, the go to sleep connects in the first few minutes. Jon Moxley manages to kick out, one of the few who have managed to kick out. They brawl off into the crowd. Moxley ends up meeting the steps as Punk smiles with happiness. Surprisingly, Jon Moxley isn't busted open and he seems in good health as the brawling starts to prove too much for CM Punk. Moxley starts working on the surgically repaired ankle now, and Punk's in agony. Jon Moxley tries every submission hold under the sun, but none of them seem to work. So instead, Moxley does a pile driver, but it's just a 2. He tries another on the ring apron, which doesn't work. Punk gets the Anaconda Vice Grip locked on, which Moxley bites him off with. There's a pretty cool moment now as Moxley baits in Punk for an elbow drop, and he traps him in a submission. That should have come to more, but Punk won't stay put. Moxley applies an ankle lock now, and the ref has to stop him, and then Moxley throws him with a released German suplex. CM Punk no-sells that and he kicks him in the head. Jon Moxley no-sells that and he clotheslines him for a double down. When they make it up, there's lots of finisher reversals. Jon Moxley does manage to land a big move at the end, which is still not the end of the match though. Moxley refuses to give up on his submission game. Punk lands the GTS out of nowhere, but both guys are exhausted. Moxley ends up passing out on top of Punk's shoulders. Punk picks him up again and does a second GTS, and that, my little friends, is the 3 for game over. I really did enjoy that last 5 minutes of that match. Again, the match was too long for me as a whole, but I understand that I'm a hawk and I'm not normal. And that is another title win for Punk. So that's 2 championship runs in this video. It's an A from the Hawk. Now I don't really want to discuss the drama of what happens next, because I'm really past this kind of rubbish at this point in my life. But basically, Punk got into a backstage fight with the Young Bucks and Kenny Omega, who are high up in the wrestling company totem pole. So Punk ends up being stripped of his title when he goes home. He has admitted that he might have handled the situation better if he hadn't been pissed off. He was pissed off because he'd injured himself again in that final match and now he had a messed up bicep. It feels like CM Punk's body was breaking down around him. So that was all very confusing and strange. CM Punk as a world champion in AEW certainly seemed to be cursed. A bit of an embarrassing chapter for them, I'm sure. Now I am going to divide this second AEW run into a separate video, as all of these matches were at least 20 minutes long, and it's one of the longest runs I've ever had to sit through. Part 2 is going to be out soon if AEW don't smack me down first. But in the meantime, we've got to grade his first AEW run. Honestly, I don't think this was anything too special. His matches were all at least fine to good, but rarely exceptional. I'll probably only remember his feud with MJF, which was by far the best thing in this entire run. Punk seemed to have the formula of having a long match where he let his opponent do most of his moves, and then Punk would win with just one move. I definitely saw CM Punk moving better and being far more exciting in the WWE, so maybe that 7 or 8 years away from the business really did make a difference for him. I don't think AEW will be too devastated at his loss. I actually come away slightly disappointed. I have to say, just because a match is long, it doesn't mean a match is good. And I'm not hating it because it's long, I'm hating it because it was repetitive, it dragged, and there really weren't many memorable moments. I'm sounding really negative here, but I'm really not feeling that way overall. I just have to be an extra critical hawk because CM Punk is the best in the world. So CM Punk's first run in AEW gets a final grade of a B for Ring of the Hawk Season 4. Tune in next time to see if he can better that and capture the belt that's eluded him, and if you don't do that, you must be dim.